Hello everyone, Nev here, and today we are doing Pisces, the Pisces study. So yeah, I have my spiritual journal right here, and the section for for the astrology is right here. I still don't have a cover page here. I will get to it. I think I will try to do that in March. I'll try to do that in Pisces season, I guess. You know, I'll try to make a commitment so that I'll have the cover page for this done by the next by the next zodiac study video. All right, so this was last video was Aquarius, of course, and we did that. I'm going to cut in here with a video of me decorating the Pisces page and going over what I have on the page and some information about Pisces. All right, I'm going to cut that in now. Well, hello everyone. We're at my computer desk here. It was just a more comfortable place to be at this particular time, decorating these pages for Pisces. All right, so Pisces is it's an interesting sign. I've had many really close friends who are Pisces, sun sign Pisces, of course. I guess I could kind of talk about what kind of colors I went for with this. I was trying to go with really kind of dreamy colors, and I went more on kind of the pastel side of things. And I don't know if that's really Pisces, but it was what I was feeling at the moment. And I used some washi tape that had whales on them because I thought that was really nice. And plus it was sparkly and pretty, and I kind of liked it. So Pisces to me are dreamers. They're highly compassionate and caring, and that has been my experience with others Pisces. They're so imaginative too. That is definitely something that's very Pisces in my mind. Is they're very imaginative, and they're so imaginative that they can also have a hard time facing reality, which is I guess a stereotype or a trait of Pisces. They need to have a more productive outlet for their emotions. Very creative, and they've got to have like a creative endeavor. Otherwise, they may be prone to their overactive imagination, creating mountains out of molehills, or overthinking things, and just kind of letting their imagination run wild if there's not something to like constrain it. You know what I mean? So Pisces may have difficulty with understanding their individuality. As they see themselves more so in relation to others, if that makes sense. They kind of, and this is of course just a trait. Not every Pisces placement is going to be like this, of course, but Pisces in general kind of. It's kind of funny. I was thinking in my head, they kind of go with the flow because they're represented by the fish, and the representation of Pisces is two fish. So they kind of see themselves in relation to others. So because of that, they may have difficulty kind of coming to an understanding of their own individuality. They're also incredibly affectionate partners, but they can be overly emotional. They may have a tendency to bend the truth or lie in order to spare the feelings of others, especially loved ones. And that is, a very Pisces thing. It's not a sort of lying or bending the truth for their own advantage. It's not like that. It's more so in a sparing other people's feelings sort of way. So some of the keywords I think of, that I gleaned from my research on Pisces: imaginative, of course, sensitive, kind, very kind, selfless, creative, dreamy, sympathetic. They can be escapist. And they can be very impressionable, deceitful, but like I said, that deceitfulness tends to come from a good place, tends to, of course, but they can be deceitful, vague, or even weak-willed. That's maybe potential negative. And the ruling planet, of course, is Neptune. It is a yin or a yin energy, and this is coming from the one book that I can't think of right off the top of my head here. Of course, they're a water sign, and they are a mutable sign. So Pisces in my chart. So in my chart, Pisces is in the ninth house, and I have no planets in Pisces. Keywords for this house are expansion, travel, ethics, philosophy, and religion. So the ninth house Pisces have a sense of spiritual freedom and exploration. I may find I have a natural high intuition and be able to sense the emotions and intentions of others. I may have difficulty finding a focus in life and find that my pursuits of knowledge mimic those around me. And, I have seen that in my life a little bit. I tend not to do things for myself. I'm overcoming that more now, but my life path has often been around other people, if that makes sense. My imagination is in expansion mode, which can lead to a reality not based in facts. And yeah, that's sadly a little bit true for me as well. So I'm going to talk about this after I cut from this voiceover, but the tarot cards associated with Pisces are the moon, of course, and cards 8, 9, and 10 of cups, and the Knight of Cups. All right, so that's everything that I have in this information that I recorded here. Let's go back and go over some of the other things about Pisces. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Here is the finished page. So yeah, obviously I went with kind of a pinky theme, and I'm not sure why. Pink isn't necessarily a color I associate with Pisces. It just, yeah, I think what I'll do, I'll go and pick out the deck that I decided to associate with Pisces, and that'll kind of explain why I went with this color scheme. So the thing is, I have two decks here because I initially picked this one deck, and the first deck I initially chose was the Zeke's Arcana, and yeah, and that's because it's very imaginative. It's very I don't know, it's kind of in its own world, you know what I mean? And I liked the colors and stuff, and that was it was coloring of this deck that I had in mind when I started to decorate this. That said, when I was giving it more thought, this was just not quite feeling like a Pisces deck to me. I mean, sure, you could use it as you can use it for whatever you want, but there was just something maybe a little too off, and I think maybe it's a bit too on the Aquarius side of things, but so I wasn't quite sold on this as my Pisces deck, and then it suddenly hit me what the correct deck is. So let me grab that. The correct deck for me in my collection to be associated with Pisces in general is the Cosmic Slumber Tarot. All right, and this was the right pick, and I feel much better about this. Here's a little book that it comes with, very cute. So I decided to pick this deck to represent Pisces, and I feel much better about this. I think it makes sense, and it still kind of matches the colors that I ended up going for with my book here. Yeah, I like it. Just adjusted the light in here a little bit. I had a light on that was causing a weird glare, so hopefully that's better now. All right. Yeah, so this deck, this feels perfect for Pisces, and it's the dreaminess of this, and that keyword dreaminess for Pisces. I think it's just a really good keyword. Yeah. And it's very flowy, this deck. It's like being in a dream world, and Pisces, I mean, this is definitely a card that might represent that, even though it's the Knight of Cups that represents Pisces. But in fact, I should probably look through and find the cards for Pisces. So hold on, let me go do that. Okay, so here we go. We got the moon, we got the 8, 9, and 10 of cups. Yeah. And I actually pulled out both the page and the Knight of Cups only because I didn't, I forgot that this deck renames the courts, and I was not sure which was which, but it turns out this actually is the Knight of Cups. So I thought it felt perfect for Pisces, so that's actually great because when I found the other one, I assumed Prince was the page. But then once I came across the princesses, I was like, oh, wait, maybe the princesses are pages. And they are. I think, because I use this deck, not a lot, but I've used this deck frequently enough to make it my favorite of the month for a month last year. But I don't think I really pulled the court cards very often because I totally forgot that that these were renamed. So anyway, this is the night. Yeah, and these cards definitely all feel Pisces to me. There we go. And I think the numbered, like the minor arcana, these ones are based off of the decans, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I think these 3 cards represent the decans for Pisces. So, and yeah, like the more I look at these cards in general, like the more I'm very confident in this pick, and this is a much better pick than the Zeke's Arcana to represent Pisces. And yeah, I mean, even like with this moon, it's very like, it's almost weepy. I mean, it is weepy, but like there's just, and those tears like nourish this land. So it's a very interesting moon card. The moon is probably one of my least favorite tarot cards. It's got a very ambiguous sort of meaning to it, and ambiguity is something I personally have difficulty with. It's probably a few placements in my chart, but yeah, but I like this interpretation of the moon. That works. And all 3 of these cards, I think it's, I'm imagining in my head, I keep connecting this to a childhood friend of mine. And this, I don't know, it has her energy, and she's a Pisces. And so I think that's what it's in my head here. Yeah, it's my relationship with Pisces, Pisces sun basically. It's very, it's very interesting. I find that I get very emotionally pulled into relationships with Pisces, friendship relationships. But it's one of those things where it's like if we're around each other for too much, there's some sort of friction that goes on. And, it may be my Capricorn moon that's causing that rift or something. But I find some of my longest friends through time are Pisces. So even if we don't always like get along, like, if we're around each other too much, but it's very deep-seated respect and love and encouragement for each other, and I like that. So so I have a special affinity for Pisces. So that is the page there, and I did also want to show again the books that I am working from. Let me go ahead and get these out of the way, and we can just look at the books real quick. Yeah. All right, so one of the books that I'm going through is Parker's Astrology, and it's this really huge, like, coffee table style book, and I'm not sure, I may have to, like, pull the camera out. And Pisces is the 12th zodiac sign, yes. So it's like, yeah, here, I actually had it bookmarked. All right, so here's a Pisces in Parker's Astrology. Let me see if maybe I can zoom this camera out a little bit. I'm going to put the other book right here to hold this open. All right, we got that zoomed out. There we go. Hopefully that looks good on camera. But all right, there we go. So here is the artwork that they have for Pisces is very cool, very interesting. And then the information, and they've got a few pages of information on each sign. So this has been a very informative book. I definitely recommend it. And over here, they have information on, I'm not sure if we can see this at all, but like traditional associations of Pisces, ruling planet, of course, Neptune, positivity and gender. They have negative and feminine. I don't think I saw that in the last for Aquarius when I was going through this. Yeah. Okay. So the other book, Starcodes, they change feminine and masculine to yang or yin and yang respectively. So yeah, and I tend to err on that side instead of like gendering it, but yeah, that makes more sense to me, that approach. But yeah, so Parker's Astrology here lists the gender though. Yeah, so water as the other triplicity of element, water. As with the other water signs, Cancer and Scorpio, Piscean emotions are fluid, changeable, flexible, and at worst, unstable. However, Pisceans usually advance their ambitions gracefully and without allowing the prevailing weather to provoke too many storms. And yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds like Pisces to me. So yeah, and then that's the end of that. And that's once I do Aries, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the zodiacal wheel here, because Aries is the first one. So that'll be Aries. All right. So that is that book. Oh, and they also have information on the houses and the planets. Very, very, very good book. But my focus for this study is just the signs themselves. So there we go. And as you saw, the other main book that I'm kind of going through, and let me zoom this back down. The other main book I've been going through is Starcodes, and by Roan Robbins. And I have their Oracle deck, the Starcodes Astro Oracle. And I could bring that out for these videos. Again, like I said in the past, like the previous video, that these study videos on the Zodiac, I'm kind of just throwing together, and I'm kind of like, I don't quite have a plan for how I want to do these videos. I'm kind of just doing them. Okay. So, so they're a little bit haphazard. They're a little bit all over the place. There's not really a whole lot of structure to them. It's kind of just my own little study, and I'm doing enough that I can film and talk about on camera. So yeah, and this book uses the keyword sensitize for Pisces, which I find interesting. And yeah, and it says here, where you have Pisces, you're sensitive, may feel squishy and vulnerable, can empathize with ambient emotions, and are easily moved to compassionate action. Yeah, compassion is really another key word that I think of when I think of Pisces. They are very compassionate. It's a very compassionate sign. So where it may lay on your chart, you may find that that's where you kind of focus your compassions, yeah, so challenge is sensitivity, of course. I'm not going to read all of that. Practical, here you can use your subtlety and perception in pragmatic ways, so make it safe to be sensitive. Tune in to artistic sensitivities, healing sensitivities, and your compassionate nature. Make sure you are as sensitive to your own needs as you are of others, and that is a blind spot for Pisces. And as perceptive of their sensitivities as you are of your own. Bring these subtle perceptions into whatever work you do, whether you work with cars, kids, or as a detective, with essential oils, or as a counselor. Yeah, interesting. Okay. So the gift is your imagination is as rich and bubbly as a rich and bubbling wellspring. So tap into it. You perceive the human psychic permeability, like the fertile swamps and the wetlands where the Piscean fish live. You are aware of the interconnectedness of your ecosystem in all of its metaphors. Your courage is supple, like a river reed that bends in the currents. Sensitivity, perception, intuition, imagination, and kind generosity can be your superpowers. So that's great. So obviously I'm not going to read all of that, but yeah, so that is Pisces. It is like I said, I think it was in my 9th house and 11th house, 9th house exploration. I think expansion was more the keyword I was using for 9th house, but there you go. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I think that's everything I've got for Pisces. So hopefully these videos are not too erratic, not too thrown together, but they kind of are. I do have fun doing these. I do have fun thinking about Pisces, or not Pisces, but the signs in general, and how I can relate to them, and then how I relate these to tarot, which is like my primary practice is tarot. So and all of these cards feel very Pisces. And this one probably feels the most Pisces to me, probably because it's got the fish, it's in the water, it's got that sort of dreamy vision to it, and yeah, see the Knight of Cups here, or the Prince of Cups as this deck calls it. So yeah, and this is probably one of the better moon cards I've seen. So I'm really happy with my pick for the tarot deck for the Cosmic Slumber. That was a good pick for Pisces. So there we go. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye!